Boy, it's hard to believe that that just came out of me, but I might as well say it and put it on record. Decapitating the head of the seed that represents the father of that branch. It's much like I was just explaining, sort of out and open to the universe, you know, that I mentioned this when you have a military corporate hierarchy, right? And the guy at the very top is like, you know, the king of the mountain, as we used to say, right? Okay. So if you decapitate the king, which represents the seed of everything below it from which it came, okay, now they're blind. They're not getting any directions from command and control. Every military strategist knows this through the intelligence agencies, okay? You take out their command and control, they're running blind, okay? So if you decapitate the head of the branch and the lieutenant, whoa, that means that seed will no longer ever be able to reproduce itself ever again for the evil that was committed by them. Which means you truly sacrificed all your seed. Okay. That's how it works with energy accountability when you represent a branch directory on the tree of life creation. Right? Particularly at this level of creation and what it represents. And that would be true for any race that's on a seeded life, tree of life. Because one of the things that becomes obvious when you want balance in any ecosystem, in any planet in which you have a gazillion different species, is measuring the harmony and the balance between everything that is there, between the energy givers and the consumers, like a recycle bin. You know, experience and then recycle. Experience, recycle. The waste product of energy as a result of the use of that energy. So if you have something that's eating away at the very fabric, that is leaving so much less for everything else, that means they're experiencing trauma. That means everything else in that planetary system is falling. Because now everything else that represents a living cell is now experiencing through the communication the trauma that's being experienced through some other root network. Okay? Some other root network. So now we're talking about the first tree trunk, the tree trunk of creation, the tree of creation, the branch directors of code of communication between the language of DNA. So it's all about communications, the language of communications. See? So when they wanted to cut off Mama's signal, why do you think that is? So that she can't communicate to her children. Okay? From which the seed stock and her stuff were made manifest into these avatars. Okay? That's a crime. That's considered a downgrade. So that means they're not improving anything. That's not the direction that higher intelligence and higher creative intelligence would naturally flow. Right? So that means that they're going in the other direction. So the universe is not advancing itself as a result of mass baggage. That's really what it is. It slows everything else down. Okay? So in other words, it's like cutting loose all the engines, the freight cars back there that are creating way too much mass baggage as a result of the fractures of all the trauma that have gone black mirror. Losing mass, gaining speed, balance. So you can see what can happen to a galaxy when it's out of balance. A star system that's not in balance, a planet that's not in balance. That means that the consciousness, the energy, the engine that's driving that avatar, that operating system is not in balance. So its mind is not in balance. That's a diseased state of mind. That's a virus in any planetary software system. So that's why they run major psychological operations, which are data mining operations, in this case using AI to map it. So you got to be ahead of the curve because they're war gamers. Corporations naturally want to out-strategize the next guy to come up with a better way to do things because they're competing against others because they realize if I compete If I do something to compete against you because I got a better toy and a better way to do things, then that means if you have that, you have something better than what I do. So I've got to be better than what you are in order to be faster at the game than you are at that game. That means that they don't know how to put their heads together and collaborate in such a way because they're experiencing what love is through both of their hearts in order to advance the cause. And that is to bring about peace wherever it finds itself. Peace in a planet. Peace in a solar system. Peace in a galaxy. So if you're not choosing to experience peace and you're instead experiencing war, then you can't experience peace and war at the same closing and opening of a magnetic circuit. To experience one or the other. So you got to know which one are you. War and peace. Peace and war. Which one is it? So if you're not experiencing what love is, you're not experiencing what the law is, which is the law of least effort, which is the law of spheres. So it's learning how to balance your pulse. And a planet ship. A planet ship that's in balance. The energy's in balance. So the flow. Go with the flow. Wow. Nobody's feeding on you. Nobody's doing any harm to you. Nobody's trying to hold your minds captive. Now you're all free to be who you are. Now I know who you really are. Now you don't have to hide behind any masks like when I was a child. I called them pretenders. Fakers. Because you can read them. Even when I was a child, I said, you know what? Why are you pretending to be something that you're not? We love you. It's okay. You're free to be what you are. You know why? Because they live in fear of what love is. So you know that's not sanity. That's not even logic. If you know that somebody's not going to do you any harm because they're giving you what love is, why would you choose to go towards something that loves you in spirit? A living spirit that is in that light loves you. Why would you want to go to war against that? That's not sane. That's what makes it an illusion, huh? So you wouldn't know one without the other. Unless you know the other, which isn't the one. So what are we? I'm the one. That makes it simple to know, because you're experiencing the energy to know. So it's what you feel in your heart and soul. You're feeling the love in your heart. And you're sharing that naturally with others. What an unbelievable day. The energies are definitely up. It's beautiful to be on this island and be plugged into a badass accelerator, boy. Kisses, kisses, pink roses, pink roses, pink roses. Emerald pools, emerald stems, pink roses, diamond, pink crystal roses, mama, pink roses, yeah, yeah, yeah.